Hey guys, welcome back. Today we have a leg day workout emphasizing the glutes. So we're going to be doing everything we can to focus in on the glutes throughout every single movement. There's the workout up on the screen, and as usual, let's jump right on in. Alrighty, so first up, we are starting off with one of the most underrated yet golden exercises of the posterior chain, and that is good mornings. So with this exercise, I like a low bar positioning on the back, and then you're going to be hinging at the hips, pushing them back as far as they can go without squatting down. So you want to keep a soft knee positioning here, but you don't want any excessive knee bending. This is all about reaching your peak hinge and then coming back up. Now, like with any exercise, but especially this one, form and execution are key here. So please make sure you have those locked down before seriously integrating this movement into your training with any weight. But once you have those two locked down, this is seriously one of those movements where you will gain a lot from it in various areas of your training. And some of my favorites being improving your hip engagement and also seeing a translation over into your strength and performance with your squats and deadlifts. Now, I love this exercise specifically for the glutes because of the high amount of activation and tension that is created during every single rep with this exercise. When it comes to feeling your glutes, it is really unparalleled to any other hinging exercise in my opinion. And I definitely stand by that. So if you guys aren't doing good mornings, I definitely recommend you to start integrating them into your training. But don't forget, form and execution. Have that down first. So supersetting with that is going to be front foot elevated Bulgarian split squats. Now, some things I like to do in order to emphasize the glutes as much as possible whenever I am performing Bulgarian split squats is one, elevating my front foot, creating a slight deficit that's going to help us get a greater, deeper stretch in our glute at the bottom of the movement, as well as keeping them under tension for a little bit longer period of time by increasing that range of motion at the bottom where they are being worked the greatest. I love that technique. I also find elevating that front foot in general just helps with keeping more of a focus on the glutes in my opinion. Now, I also like to keep a slight lean forward throughout the exercise just to keep our glutes in that stretched positioning. And then I also like to take a wide stride with these for more emphasis on the glutes. And then one last thing is making sure to keep that front foot, that shin vertical, especially as I move down. Just avoid any excessive knee drive just to further eliminate any quad activation. Of course, your quads are being worked here, but just to avoid it as much as possible and keep the contact on the glutes, I like to make sure I just avoid from my knee driving over my toes. And moving right along to the second superset, we're starting off with a leg press variation, which is really going to help us fire up that backside, and that is going to be the high and wide leg press. So you're going to be doing 12 reps of these. So with these, I also like to make sure that I keep a majority of the weight and the pressing through my heel. I do have my entire foot planted on the machine, but I just like to think heavy heel. That just is going to help further emphasize keeping the weight on your backside and driving through your glutes and hamstrings versus feeling it through your quads. And you also want to make sure that you're really getting full range of motion here with this exercise and not just doing like quarter reps. So if you feel like you can't control the weight all the way down to full range where you feel a full stretch in your glute, lower the weight a little bit to where you can control it all the way down to where you have a full stretch in your glute, and then use your glutes to really drive yourself out of the hole, coming all the way up until right before lockout, and then repeating. We want slow and controlled quality reps, really zoning in on our glutes and thinking about using them throughout the entire set. And supersetting with that is going to be this dumbbell RDL that I like to do whenever I'm really just trying to feel my glutes working with this exercise. And that's going to be a band resisted wide stance variation. So of course I have the wide stance as you see here, and then I'm going to be putting that band around my hips for two main reasons. One is it's really going to help reinforce pushing my hips back throughout the exercise. And then two, of course, it's going to be that extra added resistance as you come to the top to full lockout. So those two things alone are really going to help with just emphasizing your glutes as much as possible in your RDL. And then of course with the wide stance, that always helps me with feeling my glutes working as well. So if you're trying to get a little fancier with your RDL and really feel your glutes fire up, this is one variation that I like to implement from time to time. So to switch things up from the beginning portion of the workout, which if you notice was really targeting our glutes where their peak tension was in that lengthened position, we're going to be shifting focus now to the shortened position and really targeting them there. So we are starting off with cable kickbacks, 10 reps per leg and just your standard variation of a cable kickback. Now, if you're looking for some pointers on how to keep the contact in the glutes and avoid from like your hamstrings or your lower back firing up, I know this is an exercise that can be a little tricky for a lot of people to keep the contact where they want it. The two main tips that I find to be most useful for those issues is one, being more parallel to the ground with your upper body. As you see, I'm pretty bent over, and that is going to help eliminate any lower back pressure or lower back activity from firing up. And then the second thing is going to be finding that fixed positioning in your leg that is comfortable for you and locking it there. So as you see, I have a soft bend in the knee because that is just my preference. And then I'm moving my leg back and forth, but never bending back and forth at the knee at all. The minute you move out of that fixed positioning and start moving your knee back and forth as you move through the exercise, you're going to start firing up your hamstring because you're essentially doing a hamstring curl as you're moving the weight back. And that's not what you want. So whether you like more of a bend in your knee or you like to keep your leg more straight, find that fixed positioning that is most comfortable for you and then lock your leg there and then perform every single rep. No knee bending back and forth. And next up is the exercise. I know a lot of you are probably like, Hunter, where the hell is it at? It's not where it normally is in your glute focused workouts. Here it is, the hip thrust. We're just placing it a little bit differently, doing this glute workout a little bit differently than the norm. So here we are still doing our hip thrust, but we are doing banded dumbbell hip thrusts at the end in this tricep. And we are going to be keeping the tension constant with these, and we are doing 20 reps. And then to end this tricep, we are doing side lying hip raises for 10 reps on each side. Now, this can be a tricky exercise at first to nail down, but then once you do, you're gonna be like, oh yeah, I feel it. I know what's going on here. So you just go ahead. It takes a little bit of practice if you've never done this exercise before. Just watch a few reps, try it out, and try to figure it out. If you don't like this exercise or you just can't manage to nail it down, you can replace this with just some side lying straight leg raises. I do have those in my last workout I posted before this one that was focusing on the glutes and hamstrings. So go check out that video if you want to know what I'm talking about there. And that is going to conclude this workout once you complete this tricep for 3 rounds. And this tricep will be like the death of you, so I apologize ahead of time. I was dying by the last round of this. I even sat there for a second and contemplated like, maybe I could just do like, 1-2 rounds of this. And then I was like, no, Hunter, you have to do all 3. You wrote 3, you're doing 3. So I hope I gave you guys some good pointers on how to better emphasize your glutes whenever you're doing a lower body workout that's still going to incorporate some quad and hamstring work, but just how to get better contact in your glutes while doing so. So thank you guys so much for watching. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye guys.